You've been lied to your entire life about one of the most important gods in Greek mythology. His name is Hades, and everything you've been taught about him is wrong. Most people think Hades is evil, a dark lord, a villain, the god of death and suffering. But the truth, Hades was a victim, a scapegoat, and by the end of this video you'll understand why he deserves your sympathy, not your fear. This is the story of the god nobody understands. To understand Hades, we need to go back to the beginning. Before the Olympians, before Zeus, there was chaos. And from that chaos came the Titans, the first gods. Among them was Kronos, the king. Kronos had 3 sons, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. When the Titans fell, the 3 brothers divided the world. Zeus got the sky, Poseidon got the sea, and Hades, he got what nobody wanted. He got the underworld. Think about that for a moment. 3 brothers, 3 domains, but only one of them was sent away, exiled, banished to rule over death and darkness while his brothers got to live in the light. This wasn't a reward, this was a punishment. And it was the beginning of Hades' tragedy. Here's where the story gets darker. While Zeus and Poseidon ruled from Mount Olympus, surrounded by other gods, worshipped by mortals, celebrated in temples, Hades ruled alone. Completely alone. No festivals, no celebrations, no mortals building temples in his honor. Instead, people feared him. They whispered his name in the dark. They made offerings to him out of terror, not love. The other gods didn't respect Hades. They looked down on him. Zeus was the king, Poseidon was the warrior, Aphrodite was beautiful, Athena was wise, Apollo was brilliant. But Hades was just, the death god, the one who ruled over corpses and darkness. Even his own family rejected him. When the gods gathered on Mount Olympus for feasts and celebrations, Hades wasn't invited. He was the forgotten god, the one nobody wanted to talk about. And the mortals, they didn't worship him out of love. They worshipped him out of fear. They made sacrifices to him, but only because they were terrified of what he might do if they didn't. Imagine spending eternity being feared instead of loved, being isolated instead of celebrated, being forgotten instead of remembered. That was Hades' existence. But here's what most people don't realize. Hades was actually the most just and fair of all the gods. While Zeus was constantly committing crimes, raping mortals, destroying cities, punishing people out of petty revenge, Hades was doing his job with integrity. He didn't abuse his power. He didn't demand worship. He didn't punish people unfairly. In fact, Hades was known for being reasonable, fair, even merciful. When someone died, Hades didn't torture them randomly. He judged them. He gave them what they deserved. Good people went to the Elysian fields. Bad people went to Tartarus. And most people went to the asphodel meadows, a neutral place. This was justice, real justice, not the arbitrary cruelty of Zeus. And here's the thing that really proves my point. Hades never left the underworld. He never came to the surface to seduce mortals. He never started wars. He never destroyed cities out of revenge. He just did his job, day after day, century after century, alone. While the other gods were causing chaos, Hades was maintaining order. While the other gods were seeking glory and worship, Hades was doing what needed to be done, even though nobody appreciated it. That's not a villain, that's a hero. That's a god who deserves respect. Let me give you specific examples of why Hades was better than the other gods. First, Persephone. Everyone knows the story. Hades abducted Persephone. He took her to the underworld. He forced her to be his wife. But that's not the whole story. In some versions of the myth, Persephone wasn't a victim. She chose to go with Hades. She chose to be his queen. And more importantly, Hades treated her with respect. He gave her power. He made her his equal. Compare that to Zeus, who constantly raped and manipulated women, or Poseidon, who did the same. Second, his loyalty. Hades was married to Persephone for eternity. He never cheated on her. He never abandoned her. He was faithful. How many of the other gods can say that? Zeus had dozens of affairs. Poseidon had countless victims. Aphrodite was constantly with different lovers. But Hades, he was loyal, he was committed, he was a good husband. Third, his mercy. There are stories of Hades showing mercy to mortals. When Orpheus came to the underworld to save Eurydice, Hades actually agreed to let her go. He was moved by Orpheus' love and music. Zeus would have laughed and destroyed him. Hades showed compassion. Fourth, his integrity. Hades never broke his word. When he made a deal, he kept it. When he made a judgment, it was fair. The other gods, they were constantly breaking promises, betraying people, punishing them unfairly. But Hades maintained his integrity. He was the most honest god on Mount Olympus. And that's why he deserves our respect. So here's the truth about Hades that nobody talks about. He was a victim of circumstance. He was given the worst job in the entire cosmos. He was isolated. He was feared. He was rejected by his own family. But despite all of that, he did his job with integrity. He was fair. He was just. He was merciful. He was, in many ways, the best god in Greek mythology. The other gods had power, but Hades had character. The other gods had worship, but Hades had integrity. The other gods had glory, but Hades had something more valuable. He had the respect of those who truly understood him. If Hades were alive today, he wouldn't be a villain. He'd be a hero, a leader, someone we could actually trust. The tragedy of Hades isn't that he was evil. The tragedy is that nobody ever understood him. He spent eternity ruling the underworld, doing the right thing, being fair and just, and nobody ever thanked him for it. Nobody ever celebrated him. Nobody ever built temples in his honor. Nobody ever truly appreciated what he did. That's the real story of Hades. Not a villain, not a monster, just a god who deserved better. And now you know the truth. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Do you think Hades deserved better? What's your take on his story? And if you want to see more videos about the darker side of Greek mythology, hit that subscribe button. New videos every day. Thanks for watching.